This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff.
Ooh. We're
Good
back.
chow.
We're back after a week hiatus. Today is Tuesday, March 11th, and happy birthday to Nate.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Nate.
Thank you.
Moving
Moving on.
Oh,
We learned that Nate had a fancy dining experience on his birthday.
Sure.
That
And-
happened.
he learned to cook.
Happy about something.
Oh, she's back.
He learned to cook.
He learned
We
to
did
make
that.
traditional Italian dishes like chicken cacciatore and short ribs.
Yeah.
And cannoli tiramisu.
Oh, she's still here.
She said she was
I can
working on her
leave
thesis, not going away.
Nate, if you could use 3 words to describe your birthday, what would they be?
Oh God, here we go.
She's still here.
Forgetful. Unnecessary. Overrated.
Oh boy.
I don't know what bad thing happened in Nate's childhood, but he hates his birthday.
I don't blame you. I'm the same way, brother. Good for you.
I try so hard every year. My coworkers made fun of me today because they asked what I bought him for his birthday, and I said travel poopery.
Well, maybe that's why he hates his birthday.
He said he didn't want anything.
You gave him experiences.
Yeah.
I did.
He got to go cooking.
Well, actually, he bought me the cooking class for Christmas, but I bought him the dinner on Saturday.
There we
It's
go.
all true.
The weekend of love. Those are the 3 words I will describe for you, Nate. Thanks to everybody that's interacting with our content on the socials at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding ding.
Get that bell on. Jim, do we have any congratulations to offer?
Yeah, congratulations to Gunnar Gossett, 144-pounder from Uden Local High School. Second place at state. Hell of a tournament. Great run, sophomore. Very proud of him. The second time he's placed at state, highest he's got now, second place. Future looks bright for him. Tough match there at the end. Lost by 2 points. I think, heartbreaker, but very proud of his season. So, congrats. Look forward to next year.
Go. We are into the heart of the wrestling season, and high school mostly has finished up at this point, I believe, but the
I
collegiate
think Ohio was the last. One of the last.
Pennsylvania
Really?
was this past weekend as well, yeah.
So it was those two?
Yeah, I think there's some others that I saw. I got me the old upgrade in the Flow Sports.
And the flow?
In the Flow Sports.
It was this weekend. Did I miss that?
West Virginia was the weekend before, I believe.
West Virginia High School was this weekend.
I think it was
Yeah.
this weekend. She's right.
It was this past
Yeah.
weekend.
Oh, no shit.
My coworker's son got first runner-up for his division. Weight class, I was told.
First runner-up?
Well, runner-up. I don't know.
Second place?
Well, no, it said state runner-up.
I think that's
Yes.
what they call it in pageants and stuff, like first runner up.
Patches.
State
Your
runner-up.
champion, first runner-up, second runner-up.
Okay. All right.
So placed. Definitely placed.
Definitely.
Jim, what are you doing over there?
I'm just sitting here.
Somebody's doing something. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Definitely a star in the movie Hoosiers. Classic basketball movie. I'm sure that I may be the only one that's ever watched that movie in this company.
In this group, I'm betting.
No,
Is
I
that-
remember Gene Hackman as the coach in The Replacements.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so that's your first memory of Gene Hackman. Mine was the movie Hoosiers.
Wasn't he was also in
He was in
Some
many
action
great
movies.
movies. Many,
What?
many great movies.
Enemy of
Yeah.
the States. If you get onto, I think, Netflix or Amazon Prime right now, they've got a whole assortment of movies that you can go in and take a look at.
I mean, Are we gonna name our best ones? Like, is that where Nate? Like, that's your Gene Hackman movie, Nate?
That's the only one I can think off the top of my head right now. And since this is a sports podcast, I think it's very relevant.
I mean, he was Lex Luthor in Superman. Shout out to Wilk. I mean, I feel like if I didn't say that, Wilk would come through and just destroy me. He was in Get Shorty, another one of my favorites. The French Connection, classic.
So which one's your favorite, Jim?
One of my favorites. I'm trying to find it. I can't think of it right now. Behind Enemy Lines was a good one. Crimson Tide is another good one. Whew. There's some good ones out there, man. Dang.
Alex, do you have a favorite while Jim lists all of his movies?
Yeah, right?
Or has Alex never seen a movie that he recalls Gene
He
Hackman
probably has not.
Or I've seen a movie with him before. I actually, when I was younger, like a lot younger, I have watched Hoosiers. That said, when I say younger, I mean I think like 12 or 13. I don't really recall a lot of it, so I'll say that was my favorite.
Okay.
So wasn't the Replacements on one of your lists to watch?
It can be now.
It should be.
I thought Blue Mountain State was also on that list.
It is.
Yeah, it's a TV series. That takes a little bit more commitment.
And I'm still working through the league, so I have to finish. I'm not watching Blue Mountain State and the league at the same time.
I don't see why not.
Alex can barely get through one, Jim.
I'm very bad at TV,
multitask
so
this.
we have to start.
He should have more time on his hands now.
He's
Really,
using it to color.
Yeah.
All
That's
right,
true.
Jim, do you have a favorite? Did you find it?
Probably Behind Enemy Lines. Now that I'm looking at the list, is probably one of my favorites.
All right. That brings us into the leadoff this week, starting with the fact that the March Madness has descended upon us. All the basketball, all the time, for at least the next few weeks.
Yay.
And the Wheeling area boys have planned another trip to the good old Wheeling Island Casino to take in the games and do some betting.
Sports booking.
So if you're excited, you can come see us on Thursday. Correct? We went with Thursday?
Yes.
Correct.
Thursday, March 20th.
Mm-hmm.
All afternoon, we will be hanging out at the bar outside of the sports book, putting some money on some games.
Will you be like live streaming?
No, I doubt we're going to live stream inside the casino. That'd probably be terrible audio quality and terrible viewership. We may record some videos or go live for short periods of time.
But as we
Gotcha.
learned from last year, we probably need to get there earlier than last year. Because
Why?
then because remember we found like one table at the very last minute?
Well, we sat at the bar.
Yeah, we sat at the bar.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Because
Yeah,
we tried
we-
to sit at the back for a while, and then we just went up to the bar.
Yeah, we just went all the way degenerate and said, sit at the bar, make some bets, hang out for the day.
Yes.
This also will be leading into, I guess, next week, we'll have to do another betting episode in anticipation of week 1 of the March Madness. So that'll drop on either Wednesday or Thursday, so get pumped for that. Jim, you going to watch any basketball?
I probably will watch some. Not with like a lot of intensity, but yeah, I'll probably watch some.
All right.
I feel like this is a good time for like the casual basketball fan, because at least you can like put it on and root for an underdog or something.
Yeah.
Well, that, and you just, doesn't matter what time of the day that first weekend, just put it on, watch for 10, 15 minutes, come back 3 hours later, you can still watch some basketball.
Yeah.
Do it on your own terms. Next in the leadoff, Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James had a moment last week at a Lakers game where LeBron confronted Mr. Stephen A. Smith after Smith had been critical of Bronny James being drafted and that it was a byproduct of LeBron James' success and position in the league. After the short confrontation where James told him not to talk about his son, keep my son's name out of your mouth, I think was one of the more direct quotes. Smith came out afterwards and said, "That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son.
Stephen A. Smith is a bitch.
Didn't he say something like, I'm saying this as a father or something to knock it off or something?
Stephen A. Smith is a bitch.
Go on, Jim.
Like, what do you mean he's a father? You have a job to do. Like, Bronny is a player. I don't care.
But he's
Like-
directly attacking him, like saying he's only here because you're his dad. So he's calling out the fathership part of it.
I don't care.
I think there was more to this. I have to do some recall, but I heard that he said something like, I'm asking you as a father, knock this stuff off. And then LeBron James took offense, being like, you're talking about my parenting skills.
Oh, boo-hoo.
No, I don't think his parenting skills were ever in
No.
this. It was Stephen A. Smith said the only reason Bronny got drafted by the Lakers is because LeBron James is his father. Look at the stats. He's not blown it up in the G League. They could have got a number of players that were better talents in that round than Bronny James.
Yeah.
So
Tell me where he was
LeBron's
lying.
only butthurt because somebody on a microphone said it.
I mean, tell me where it was a lie.
Are you,
And
who are
now-
you asking? Alex?
Anyone, the general public. And then he walks it back because, he came at me like he was as a
I
father.
don't think it's a lie.
Stephen A. Smith was probably one of the few journalists out there that I kind of was like, well, the man tells the truth. Like, he at least keeps it real. And then the King of Kings came out and was like, you've touched a nerve. Stop it. And Stephen A. Smith took a knee to the king. And if that's what we're doing, I don't consider him a journalist anymore.
Right. Smith did later say, I also get paid to call it like I see it, and what I said at the time, I stand by what I said. And when you're raised as a journalist professionally, you don't want enemies, but you ain't paid to make friends.
What?
I feel like he's just speaking out of both sides of his mouth.
Right. Now you have lost credibility. So you suck. And Charles Barkley is the only real one in the media.
Charles Barkley, even Shaq at this point. Shaq has reason to care because he's got all these other business interests. I think Chuck's just Chuck at all times.
He's the only one that keeps it real.
24/7, much to the dismay of some people on the set with him at times, but indeed he does. Any other thoughts on the Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James controversy?
No, but I'll by proxy into the Stephen A. Smith Lakers. Did you see where Chuck was like, everybody's talking about how the Lakers have this run and it's so great, but like the only reason we care about it is because the network we're going to just keeps talking about it. Nobody's talking about Cleveland, and look at the run they've been on. They've won 12, but we're sitting here talking about the Lakers and how they've won 8 or 9. What about Cleveland? Oh, the other network we're about to go to doesn't really care about that. They only care about the Lakers. So, like, that's more to the point of, like, LeBron, the Lakers, Bronny. This whole story is a story because they need it to be.
Indeed. And we'll get in a little bit later. We will get into some more basketball news that has to do with some networks, some deals, and some sports that are about to leave some major network options. So, but starting next, we have a show. A show that some may or may not recall. ESPN has announced that Around the Horn is going to go off air in May. This show had a 23-year run that started with Stats Boy Tony Reale just coming at the end and telling people where they screwed up, to running the show, to being the host of the show. A lot of, I'll say, sports personalities that I recall growing up. Kalishaw,
Woody Page.
Page, just Wilbaum was even on there from time to time, I think. Kornheiser, just a lot of really good sports personalities, especially as you were growing up around ESPN, were included. And while I have not kept up with this show, it's just on at a time that I don't watch it. It's kind of a piece of my childhood and sports fandom dying.
Yeah, I
The
remember coming
mouse.
I
to school a
actually
lot.
agree with
And
that.
me and my
Like,
dad watching this too.
yeah, I actually agree with that. I'm not very good at TV, but I watched Around the Horn a lot, and I liked it.
This is a victim of the mouse, man. They're killing off the good shit.
Well, there was, oh, believe me, there's some discussion that the show had got too quote unquote woke, which got some current sports personalities involved to defend one way or the other, saying that the show was the show 20 years ago, not just in the last 5 years. It's always had an engaging, diverse group of personalities from across the ESPN network and outside of that. So
I feel like that was kind of the point, was that you did have some funny personalities and stuff kind of clashing.
yeah, Pablo Torre. I mean, Mina Kimes got her start with that in some different ways. So, yeah. Again, not that I watched it, but sad to see it go.
I don't know, in a way, Muff, we're that show because you have the power to mute all of us.
Is it time?
Did he just mute himself?
He just muted himself. Holy cow! This is like
He just
muteception.
faded.
Oh,
Negative points.
negative.
Negative points.
I was gonna say, except for Muff doesn't give us any points ever.
Yeah, I don't give out points. Maybe we in May we can come back to this and do an episode where we give out points.
We should.
But
That would be a
whenever
fun
we did
episode.
that,
But anyway,
what was the segment we were doing, the rapid fire thing? I was giving you guys points.
That was fun.
but I feel like it would be like Whose Lines It Anyway, where points don't matter.
Yeah.
We'll do it where the points matter to some degree. There will be a winner and a loser. It may not be the points that are adding up because I can always subtract points like reality does.
And no ties like that damn sport called soccer.
Mm.
I think we've just set
Negative
the ground
point.
rules. And to finish off the lead off, we do so in the baseball world as George Mason set a new NCAA record, scoring 23 runs in an inning last week. This included the first person at bat getting an out and no triples or home runs in the entire inning. Nate, what would you do as an umpire if you had to sit through this?
Expand the goddamn strike zone.
That's about right. Here's the order of events. It went ground out, walk, single, hit by pitch, double, single, hit by pitch, fielder's choice, double, walk, hit by pitch, walk, double, single, hit by pitch, double,
How
pop
many
out.
hit by pitches do they get?
I don't know how many different pitchers. I did not see that. Walk, double, single, walk, single, fielder's choice to end the inning. 23 runs later.
And see, the other thing, and I saw this, but I didn't see like the final. I sure hope to God that this was like a run rule game and like they called it after like 5 or 6 innings.
You can look that up. I'm unsure. I don't know what the college Division I baseball does in these scenarios.
I've seen it before watching SEC games where they have a run rule after 7 if they're playing a 9-inning game.
Okay.
But I am going to look that up while you keep talking.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some NFL news, starting with we are going to have the Hawkeye technology has been approved, is a go. We're going to get some, hopefully, so there's going to be more of a dramatic factor, more of an entertainment factor to understanding if there's a first down or not. Touchdown as well. This applies to touchdown, I believe, as well. We're not going to see any more note cards, no Gene's territory, which means we're probably not going to see any chains on the sideline either.
No, I think they said they're
keeping the chains
there.
Are they still going to be right on the sideline?
Yeah.
That's the thing I didn't see. And by the way, they did call it after 7. It was 26-6. But that's the thing. They said the chain gang's still going to be there, but are they going to be active during the game is the question.
Well, I need them to still be there because if not, what happens? I like watching them get run over and stuff. That's funny.
Alex wants to see all the
That's
Gumbies from all the
terrible.
old people on the sidelines.
That's terrible.
But yeah, that's the thing.
Don't
It's
act
like
like you don't laugh when there's a good little whoops.
I don't. I
Like, are
don't.
they just going to be there as like a visual reference for the teams, or are we going to have? I've seen it in some of the college level games where they have a guy they call it like a shadow, or auxiliary down box. I've seen them where they're digital and they'll say like yards to go. Like they'll be at the first down
Okay.
spot and it'll say yards to go.
So there'll be somebody that's line of scrimmage and then a first down marker.
Yeah, I've seen that before too. But you got to obviously have it on both sides.
Right. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. See what they do. I was reading some of this before I learned this was a go, and Nate found this. That there still may be like commercials and stuff like this as they review it, especially in the preseason. It may not be what we equivalent to what they do in tennis, where it's like on the spot. Like
Or
there's a
like,
challenge and they focus in on it and say first down.
yeah, because like baseball's doing that now with the robo where all they got to do is just tap their head that they want to challenge a pitch, and it's literally over and done in like 5 seconds.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, this obviously with some things in the NFL, we kind of incorporate this into our commercial breaks. So I'm wondering if the Hawkeye is going to be another one of those. It's like, oh, here's a great time to get another 30-second bid in, and somebody will pay for this. The Hawkeye review, sponsored by. It's got to be at least a
Sponsored
30
by
to 60. Yeah. Hey, they are the ones. They are the ones. All right. Time to get into what's been happening in the NFL. We've had a lot. Nate has been the man on the internet scouring the Ian Rappaports, the Adam Schefters, the Jordan Schultzes of the world, in addition to whatever website he found.
Mm-hmm. And I've only tried to put in the guys' names that I have heard of.
Yeah. Kenny Pickett does not make the cut here, guys, even though he's going to Cleveland. First off, the franchise tag window closed. There were only 2 that received the franchise tag, which was the fewest since 1994, and there had been at least 6 every year since 2019. The 2 players that got it, Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins. It's the second year in a row to be tagged, so he cannot be tagged again, I believe. That's what the CBA says.
Correct.
And Chiefs guard Trey Smith gets the tag. Those are the only 2. We've had... What's that?
Poor T. Higgins.
I feel like he kind of knew this was coming.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't make it any less discouraging for him to get tagged the second year in a row. As far as some high-profile trades, these kind of go in the order that they happened, I believe. First, we had Deebo Samuel going from the 49ers to the Commanders for a 5th or 4th?
It was a 4th.
For a 4th-round draft pick this year. Chiefs guard Joe Thuney to the Bears. I think that was another draft pick-related one, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Jaguars wide receiver Christian Kirk to the Texans, Jim.
Yeah. Yeah.
You excited about that? Do you care for the
I'm
moment?
more upset about
What's coming later?
Yeah.
Okay. Alex Geno Smith is headed to the Raiders to rejoin Pete Carroll.
Not happy about this. I'm still going to root for him, but it's really hard to root for the Raiders in any capacity.
I don't disagree there.
All right. The Bears continue to bolster the interior of their offensive line by also getting Jonah Jackson from the Rams for a 6th-round pick, adding to Joe Thuney. So this seems to be the Bears, who now have, obviously, Detroit former offensive coordinator, kind of mimicking the build up the interior of the line, get some skill players, and let the offense eat. So we'll see if that works out for them. And the Steelers finally go to free agency and get a high-profile wide receiver as they bring in DK Metcalf from the Seahawks for a 2nd-round pick.
We're still
Alex, how we feel?
Playing who's going to throw it to him, but
we're using the bring the receivers to attract the quarterback.
Attract? You mean just give your boy Rodgers more weapons?
There are two. There are two that are up in the air right now. And lastly, it's what Jim alluded to. The Texans have traded Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders.
That hurt.
That one made no sense to me.
For 4 draft picks. 2 this year and 2 next year. Why?
Where would I don't expect you to have this answer because I don't know it either. Was this his last year of a contract? Where was
I
he
don't
at?
know offhand. I would assume it's pretty close to last year. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this was just get him off our books before we know we're gonna have to pay him.
Yeah, it's a cap space move.
Yeah.
But like, why? Stroud was sacked 38 times as a rookie and 52 times in 2024. Caleb Williams was the only other quarterback in the NFL that was sacked more. Like, what are we doing?
I don't know. We'll see what they do in the draft. I don't
I mean, you
think
gotta
there's much.
assume you're gonna go get two offensive linemen. I would hope.
You got to do something. Got to do something. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm hopeful that they've built well through the draft thus far. They obviously last year had some bad luck with injuries, but they got to keep the golden boy upright
And
for
he's going
success.
into
Yes,
his
Jim.
third year of his contract. Like, are we just doing the Joe Burrow thing? Like, fuck him. Let's see if we can kill him.
We'll find where his breaking point is, and then we'll build around it.
I mean, come on.
We'll see. Requested trades. Bengals defensive lineman Trey Hendrickson, last year's sacks leader, has been given permission to seek a trade partner.
There's another dumpster fire.
I always wonder how these goes when the teams are like, okay, we won't try to find a trade for you. You go do it yourself.
Please take me.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, Nate. I think this is just more of we don't really want to trade you, so we're not going to make any efforts, and you figure it out. You give us something that's worthwhile, I guess we'll entertain it.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, sorry about your luck. You're going to stay in Cincinnati and have some Skyline chili and blow up that toilet every other Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just, like, to me, is such a weird, and I know this is business and blah, blah, blah. It's just such a weird concept to be like, I want traded. And then if he doesn't get traded, you have to go back in the locker room and look all the guys in the face here like, yeah, I don't want to be on your team anymore.
I'm too good for you guys.
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
like,
he is too good for the rest of that defense.
What?
He did lead the league in sacks last year. He is too good for that team, especially on the defensive side of the ball where they were just an absolute Swiss cheese factory.
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm saying it's just like a weird concept to me to be like at work, just be like, yeah, I'm not working here anymore. You guys suck. I'm gonna go to a different place and work. And then I had to come back and be like, yeah, actually, no one else wanted me. So you guys cool if I stick around? It would be weird.
It would be. It would be. Some notable cuts. The Chargers cut Joey Bosa. Eagles cut Darius Slay, who didn't he get picked up by the Steelers already?
I saw that, but I haven't seen a confirmation.
Confirmation. I think it seems like it's going to be confirmed.
Yeah, I think he was one of those ones that said they are going to cut him.
Oh, this is like once the official league year begins, cut?
Yeah.
Okay. So in principle, there's an agreement to cut him and the Steelers to take him, but they can't do anything officially yet.
Yeah.
Eagles also get rid of James Bradbury. The Seahawks cut Tyler Lockett. Big mainstay. Do we think he ends up in the Raiders as well?
I was going to say, that's curious. The Seahawks really are like, we're just going to say F it to everything.
Full rebuild. Bengals cut Alex Kappa, interior lineman, who then signs a 2-year deal with the Raiders. Jaguars cut Evan Ingram, tight end. Raiders cut Gardner Minshew. The Jets cut Devontae Adams, who then goes and signs a 2-year deal with the Rams. Commanders cut Jonathan Allen. Texans cut Shaq Mason. Here you go, Jim. There's another offensive lineman gone.
Yeah, we don't need a line. It's fine. We're the Bengals.
You're about to become Bengals South, I think.
I really think so.
Cut, paste. The Bills cut Von Miller. The Falcons cut Grady Jarrett, who then signs with the Bears. And the Steelers cut Larry Ogunjobi. Anybody else see anything else? Nick caught the big ones. We have some retirements. Packers kicker Mason Crosby retires. Bengals defensive end Sam Hubbard retires. Jaguars center Mitch Morse retires. And Rams O lineman Brian Allen retires.
And I know I'm a Ohio State homer, but like Sam Hubbard was not in the league very long.
7 years.
Like, that's a blow to Cincinnati.
Yeah, losing 2 defensive linemen.
Like,
or potentially losing 2. Losing 1 for sure. Potentially losing the sack leader as well.
it's
Yeah,
cool.
I think that Sam Hubbard one shocked everybody.
Yeah.
All right, now we get to the signings and the extensions. Chime in at any point, gents, for some commentary on these. First, and I would say one of the more recent, if not most recent, big ones, Steelers signed DK Metcalf to a 5-year, $150 million deal. We talked about that a little bit already. The question now is, who is going to throw to George Pickens, DK Metcalf, Pratt Freiermuth, et al.?
Well, if you've seen the meme,
volunteered.
well, did you see the meme posted by Chris Boswell?
No.
Did not.
He posted one. It was like of him rolling out on a fake punt or whatever, and said, "Screw it. I know DK and GP are down there somewhere."
No. The only names really being rumored at this point are Russ Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. Alex, do you have a preference?
I'd rather keep Russ Wilson.
We all know that I would love to see Aaron Rodgers with the Pittsburgh Steelers for 2 years. 2 years. Give him 2 years. Give him a 2-year deal.
Only way that I would like that would be if they take him on for 2 years, draft someone, and are kind of using him as a coach for the next quarterback.
That shithead ain't going to coach nobody.
Jimmy, he's like 42 going on 43. I think he sees the light at the end of the tunnel.
And
Only
Jordan
light he
Love
sees is when
turned
they
out all
open the
right.
door in his dark room.
You gonna say that Jordan Love was not mentored at any
I was going to say, he
time
turned
by
out
Aaron?
okay.
No.
Okay.
What?
No.
After the way Favre did Rodgers, I think Rodgers like, yeah, I'm not going to do that to anybody else.
I disagree. Rodgers doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself.
Oh, here we go. Jim's Aaron Rodgers hate shines through again. So that means you'd rather see Russ Wilson?
I'd
Not
rather
that you
see
care about what
any.
Steelers do.
I don't want to see either one of them.
I know. I saw reports that said Russ is being targeted by Tennessee.
It's probably who knows. Tennessee's dumpster fire too. They can take Russ. Yeah, give me Aaron Rodgers. Nate?
I'm with Alex here. Give me Russ, as I feel like you can get more longevity. And I feel like even though he's not as mobile as he used to be, the threat is at least there.
He had
Draft Shador.
He's going to be back with DK.
Draft Shador.
They do still have their first round pick. So there's a lot of speculation about what may be coming. Some say that they need to get young on the defensive line. Oh,
Saints are re-signing Chase Young to a 3-year, $51 million deal.
Who did that?
Whoopee.
The Saints are re-signing Chase Young.
If
For
he
how
stays
much?
healthy.
3-year, 51.
Well, you just threw away a lot of money.
Yeah, because weren't the Saints like in the most cap hell of all teams?
Yeah, they just continue to make this worse.
I mean, why? Why? He can't stay healthy. Has he had a full year in the league yet?
I don't know. Maybe he likes the soul food down there.
God. I feel like Chase Young, Jadeveon Clowney have like a similar career in my mind.
Yeah.
Like came in with a lot of fanfare, had some injury or just some other issues early, but have continued to stay relevant and get contracts because of what people
they can make some
perceive them.
flash plays every once in a while.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts. The Browns, somehow, from the jaws of being traded or wanting to be traded, saying he was no longer playing Cleveland, the Browns get Myles Garrett because they pay the man all the money to a 4-year, $40 million per year, $123.5 guaranteed, becomes, for the moment, the highest non-paid QB in NFL history.
Yeah,
Was it
Alex,
worth
it comes
it?
back to your point earlier. I don't want to be with you guys anymore, blah, blah, blah. We'll give you all the money. Fine, I'll come play for you.
I don't know how that... Because there were tweets that, like, they wouldn't even take his calls.
Right, and he made that post and was doing, like, the TV tour saying, "Oh, I want to go play for a championship." Blah blah blah.
Right, he did that first.
Right.
And then ownership wouldn't even take his calls 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Or then, oh, we're going to give him the bag. All right.
They looked
Well, he's
around,
got him
said,
on
what
one
else can we
side.
do with that money? And said, nothing.
Well, no, that's what they did. They gave him all the money, and what did they get in return? Kenny Pickett.
They said, yeah, but you have to take this guy too.
You remember Pittsburgh? We're going to give you one of their quarterbacks that the offense is going to go with. So it's all on me again, huh? Yes, sir, Miles, it is. It is all on you again. I think this, Alex, more so than maybe the other ones, is leaning into that narrative of you. It's like, what is a locker room going to feel?
Yes, because
this
he
is
was
very
loud
public.
about it.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't care. The locker room doesn't care. Are you kidding me? It's Cleveland, guys. They're amped.
Do you care as a fan?
I'm not a fan, first of all.
I'm saying, if you're a fan, do you care?
Hell no, they're pumped. I know Cleveland fans.
They're excited that Myles Garrett's coming back.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Browns fans are excited, per Jim. The Bills extend Josh Allen 6 years, $330 million, $250 of that guaranteed.
Waste of money.
This puts, I believe, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson directly on the hot seat of you better bring a championship in the next 2 years, or else.
Or else what? We pay you? Or else
Well,
you get rich.
as long as he's on the field and not tearing his Achilles again like Deshaun Watson, I feel like the Bills fans aren't going to be too upset.
I don't think that they should not have extended him.
I think all the pressure is now on Allen. You get this big contract. You're getting a new stadium. You've been to the AFC Championship game.
And now you're rich. I don't
And you're
understand.
coming off an MVP.
And there's no consequences.
At this point, no, not when you get 250 of it guaranteed.
Right.
There are no consequences aside from you played yourself into this contract.
Mm-hmm.
And the pressure is on. I'd say pressure, not in the, like life and death pressure, because he's obviously financially secure for the rest of his life, beyond the rest of his life.
You got a hot girlfriend. You're loaded.
Who are they going to get that's better than Josh Allen?
I'm not saying I don't disagree with your point. That's a very valid point. But why back yourself into a corner like this?
Because you're not going to get anyone better than Josh Allen for the next
Today,
6 years.
For 6 years? You don't know what's going to happen in 6 years?
I would rather
You
place
don't
my
know
money
that?
on Josh Allen. Than
This
that.
is you know what you're getting out of him.
Yes.
We're not gonna play roulette in the draft. So at some point we're gonna have to get another quarterback. That's okay, but we're gonna lock him in for 6 years in Buffalo.
More breaking news.
Oh, boop, 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 boop.
Najee Harris, 1-year deal with the Chargers.
Ooh. There we go, Jim. I don't think the Steelers are going to be taking a quarterback in the first round because they're about to take a running back.
Yeah.
Welcome to Pittsburgh, Travion Henderson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jim,
1-year
number
deal
one
worth
Pittsburgh sports fan.
9.25.
Yep, I expected this to happen. We got to this point, I was going to guess this was going to be the outcome just because of how everything else had been going. Yeah, I was listening. Najee Harris, just since we're on the Steelers right now, didn't have a run in his career over like 35 yards.
Yeah, I thought he
So
was
it was
overhyped.
Not an explosive runner. Had a lot of 1,000-yard seasons, but didn't have explosive runs.
Chunked away.
But
That's
how much of that
Yeah.
is the scheme in Pittsburgh that screwed him?
I mean, I feel like that's the system he's built for.
Okay, that's a great counterpoint.
Yeah, he was, but as far as the Steelers looking to compete, the splash plays is what they needed.
You think Travion is your guy?
He's more of the every down back unless they go for Judkins. I think they can go for either of them and fill the void. It's personal.
I know
opinion.
in some mock drafts I see, they say they might try to go out and get that Scouted in the 3rd or 4th round.
Oh,
I mean, they could wait. I
that
would rather
would be
see
a hell
them
of a
not
pick
wait
for the
that long.
Steelers, I think.
I bet, Alex. I
He's Jalen Ward and Cam Scadaboo are not a good tandem, in my opinion. They're
Why?
like the same back.
Right.
They need somebody that can run between the tackles on first and second down, Alex. That's what they need.
You're not any fun.
So Judkins, I'd say, is the better fit, but Travion Henderson could also be had. The Cardinals signed Josh Sweat along the defensive line to a $41 million guaranteed deal over 4 years. Good for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams bring Matthew Stafford back.
Couldn't find anything on that other than they just said, "Oh, they restructured his deal to bring him back."
Yeah, they restructured his deal. I think it's like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, that was another one of those. What's available in free agency? Nothing better than what we have right here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they just held on to what they could. Max Crosby, who held the crown for the highest, I think, per annum salary over a new deal for like a day or two. Signed a 3-year, $106.5 million deal with $91.5 million guaranteed.
And he was another one that kind of cried, "Get me out of here."
He did. He indeed did. And then he ended up coming back. So apparently it's a D lineman thing to cry and went out and end up back where you were with a big old deal.
Divas.
Not typical. We hear defensive linemen be the divas of the NFL
Go ahead,
world.
Alex. Will you please walk up to one of these? Pick one. Pick the smallest one. And say that to their face.
Okay.
Was that a you'll do it?
Mm-hmm.
I will live stream that shit all day.
And then you go up to who you think's the smallest one. You think I'm small?
Hey, I picked you. You look the smallest. Hey, you're a diva.
I will pay. Like our podcast will be on the map.
Potentially the legal map.
If you get in touch with one of them, find them for me and set up this meeting.
On it. Pick it. Tell me which one, Alex. Let's go.
You get to pick.
Oh, Miles Garrett.
Nope, he said small.
He said I got to pick.
I think it has to be within those parameters. Yes, Alex?
Yes.
Okay.
If I'm going to call him small, it's got to at least be kind of
The
Alex.
smallest one to bitch about their contract. Got it.
Well, no, this is just the group as a whole.
The smallest defensive lineman?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're probably looking for some undersized defensive end, if I were to guess. On it. I mean, if you wait till the draft, it could be like Abdul Carter. He's pretty undersized for a defensive end.
The smallest one versus Alex is going to make us go viral.
I
And
don't
a
disagree.
good possibility the smallest one will probably answer.
There we go. Eagles re-sign Zach Bond to a 3-year, $51 million deal, 34 guaranteed. But they also bring back Saquon Barkley, giving him a 2-year, 41.2 with 36 guaranteed. Thank you for the Super Bowl. We will repay you handsomely. I feel like this is another thumbing of the nose at the Giants.
He definitely earned that, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the best. Of the ones I've been reading here, this is probably the best signing.
It's the most worthy.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
say.
and I think for them it's smart to do only 2 years.
Yep.
For as much usage as he had. You're not committed to it long term if he gets banged up.
Well, and I hate to say it, but he is notorious for getting banged up.
And I think for him, it's a good situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. It also resets the market for running backs a little bit, which is something that they were trying to do, right? The running back collective was hoping this was going to happen, and Saquon Barkley is the man to cash in. So,
Yeah, James Cook's over there licking his lips.
That was a win all around.
I don't know if that Josh Allen deal allows for all of that there, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, I saw where James Cook retweeted that Barkley signing or whatever. I don't remember what emojis he used.
Yeah. Commanders bring back 2 vets in Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz. Guess good for them. The Cowboys, Osa Odigizuma.
Ooh,
I
good
believe
job, Muff.
I believe I heard that pronounced a couple times, so I feel okay about that. A defensive tackle.
Yeah, how did you screw up right there?
I was going to say, he said the name and then he says tackle.
They also reworked Dak's deal to allow this to happen. Odigizua, a lot of people are saying one of the more underrated, at least not as known, defensive linemen, especially interior linemen in the league. A lot of people are like, he deserved it. Glad that the Cowboys were willing to pay him because he does a lot of the dirty work.
Yeah, I heard the same narrative. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Never heard of him.
Yeah, I was just like, wait, what? Who? And then I was like, oh, apparently everyone's on board with this. Good for
Yeah,
him.
Odikazua. That's who.
Yeah, Odigazua, we got him. He plays
A
defensive
temple.
tackle. He plays the defensive tackle position.
Yeah, Alex
Um,
Small.
all right, Nate, what's happened with your Bucks?
They brought back two of their own. They brought back Levante David for one more year at $10 million, 9 of it guaranteed. And then 2 signings they made today. They brought in a desperately needed a pass rusher, so they got Hassan Reddick on a 1-year deal for 14 mil. Hopefully he's not a diva like he was with the Jets.
See? Nate's throwing around the word too.
Well, he was a holdout for a while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
they
the
traded
big
for him
one,
and then couldn't get a contract done.
so then the big one that kind of put people in for a scare, originally, Chris Godwin comes back. They didn't tag him, so teams were like, oh, do we have a shot at Godwin? But he comes back for 3 more years at $66 million, 45 of it guaranteed.
How do you feel about that one coming off an injury?
He's done it before.
That's true. All right. Bengals bring back Mike Gesicki. The Chiefs bringing back Hollywood Brown. Ravens bring back left tackle Ronnie Staley. Panthers sign cornerback J.C. Horn to become the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. 4-year, $100 million, 70 of it is guaranteed.
Yeah, that one surprised the hell out of me. I was like, even as a Bucks fan, I'm like, okay, we played these guys twice. I don't really recall hearing his name a whole hell of a lot. Plus, on a team that's terrible.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like the position you would prioritize right now. I think that's just holding on to maybe a fan favorite, or you don't want to let go of one of your big players. So we're going to throw the money at him. This is like the opposite of Myles Garrett.
Hey, you stuck around with us while we sucked. Stick around us while we suck a little more.
Yeah. Chargers getting re-signing Khalil Mack. I don't think he'll fall in the small person category. Seahawks get Sam Darnold to replace Geno Smith. Take him away from KOC and the Minnesota Vikings for a 3-year, $110.5 million, 55 of which is guaranteed. Seahawks unload a lot of things and then throw some money at Sam Darnold. For who to him to throw to? I don't even know who's on that roster anymore.
Stupid.
Noah Fant.
Noah Fant. Kenneth Walker, also an injury-prone person. The Jets bringing Justin Fields to New York on a 2-year, $40 million deal, 30 of which is guaranteed. What are we feeling about Justin Fields to the Jets?
I think he got paid. I think that was smart on him.
I saw that narrative a lot that he was going to go to the Jets. Not sure how or why, but
We'll see. We'll see if he can have any success where many others have not over many years. So
I think
somebody has to right this curse at some point.
I think him and Garrett Wilson connecting back is good for Garrett Wilson.
If there was one team that you didn't want to get traded to, what would it be?
The Browns.
I feel like I can be a big fish in a small pond in Cleveland.
First off, Cleveland's fucking cold. Cold. Their ownership, I don't really want anything to do with. It's a miserable town. In New York, like, there's cool shit to do in New York. It is also cold, but cool shit to do in New York.
You're under so much scrutiny at all times, though.
Yeah.
At least in Cleveland, if you suck, they blame the ownership.
Yeah, but still, there's cool shit to do in New York. And it's not Cleveland.
I'm going to say, at this point, I don't want to go to the Giants.
Oh, well, still, it's in New York, though.
I don't think I want to go to
It's
the
New
Jets.
Jersey, yeah.
Well, I mean, they both play the same stadium. What'd you say, Nate?
I don't want to go to the Jags right now.
I was kind of thinking
me
that
either.
being hot, and I wouldn't want to be hot all the time.
You don't want to go to Duval.
Yeah, no, that ownership is whack, too.
They're still in the wake of Urban Meyer. I feel like in the next year or two, they're out of it officially.
No, I don't think Urban Meyer had, and I understand that. Like, this is going to come out, oh, you're a homer. I honestly think it's an ownership issue, not an Urban thing. Yes, Urban has no business coaching, for the record. But I think The cons have no idea what the hell they're doing.
I think we can say that for a few ownership groups in the NFL, and they're just part of that whole team, huh?
Yeah.
The Browns, speaking of Cleveland, restructured Deshaun Watson's contract, cleared 36 in the cap space. He still owed $46 million in each of the next 2 seasons. Obviously, some of this helped them get Myles Garrett back onto the payroll.
How did they They're like, listen, we're going to sue you because you're an idiot. So restructure or else. Is that pretty much how that went?
No idea. I just saw this story on ESPN somewhere, and I'm like, you got to be kidding.
I feel like it's going to be. I feel like they're not going to go after this whole Achilles thing. I feel like if they were going to, it would have already happened. So I think this was the. Come on, man. You already got us bent over the barrel. Just give us something.
Yeah, it's not like you've been playing. Get some of that back.
Yeah. You're still getting all your money. It's guaranteed. It's just when is it going to happen?
It's like when you refinance a house.
No, it's okay. I'll let you have that one for now.
I don't want the actual definition. I just want.
I'll let you have it. I'm probably not worth arguing with you over this.
Kicking the can down the road.
Sure.
I understand, Jim, that you're still paying the same amount of money with Deshaun Watson, and you're not paying the same amount of money with a house.
This is like if you're refinancing the house and the basement has pedophiles in it. Sure.
That's a way to look at it.
Amidst all of this, or before all of this, the combine did happen. There were medical evaluations. We had some players running around. Some of them faster than others. And yeah, but what I got to say about that, the most interesting thing that I think happened at the combine was that Jordan Schultz and Ian Rappaport reportedly got into a verbal confrontation at a local Starbucks. Surprise, surprise. Newsflash, Schultz's father is the former CEO of Starbucks.
Oops.
What does that have to do with the conflict?
That's just funny to me.
Oh, okay.
The fact that Ian Rappaport got into some confrontation, which I still haven't seen anything come out about what they were talking about. I feel like this is, I'm the better newsbreaker. No, you're the better. I'm the better newsbreaker. I feel like this is one of those.
I'm only here because there's not a damn Dunkin' around.
Wow. Rappaport did come out afterwards and say, "Let me get my coffee from elsewhere, ladies and gentlemen. There's a good Dunkin' down the road." But
I feel like that's an opportunity for a Super Bowl commercial.
ooh, that could be a good one. Some things that did happen in the medical evaluation side. Abdul Carter, it came out from one evaluation that they said he needed to get surgery on his right foot, and then additional opinions came out that said it wasn't advisable for him to do that, so I guess he's not doing it. Will Howard got roasted a bit on the socials for his throwing performance. Apparently there were 3 or 4 good throws, and then all I saw, though, were the bad ones.
I didn't see or hear any of this. I heard McAfee like drooling all over him. That's what came up on my socials.
That's what came up before the combine, and then after the combine, they had to put their foot in the mouth, at least based on the tape that came out of the combine. So, we'll see what comes of that. Running backs Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson were impressive, according to most. Running backs from Ohio State. Jalen Milroe made some noise and said he was impressed some with his performance, maybe boosted his stock a bit. And Virginia Tech's Bashul Tuten nearly hit the running back triple crown during the combine, leading the position group in the 40-yard dash and vertical jump, and almost hit the top spot in the broad jump among running backs. This comes with many speculating that running back is one of the strongest positions in this year's draft, and we may see 3 or 4 go off the board in the first round.
I mean, I'd kind of have to agree. I'm not sure what other category you're looking at that would have more.
I thought, from the very little bit of the comment I did watch, I thought they said this is a very deep class as far as defensive line, too.
Okay, those are 2 position groups. Good. Anything else on the NFL? We good? Okay, we're good. Going into the college football.
In the draft.
What's that?
a month plus some whatever away from the draft.
Indeed. In the college football offseason, Oregon and Dan Lanning agreed on an amended 6-year contract that increases the annual salary to almost $11 million. Kent State is going to make $4.2 million in buy games this season by playing Texas Tech, Florida State, and Oklahoma. If you include 2025, the Golden Flashes will have made over $17 million from buy games in the past 4 years.
They do. I mean, like, just because for a little while they had a local kid as a kicker who's actually going elsewhere. I think he's going to Northern Illinois. But it seems like they're always playing those big schools and just getting trounced, but playing them.
Insert the meme. Show me the money.
Exactly.
They're getting the money, and they're also with the pending House versus NCAA clearinghouse settlement April 6th. If that goes down the way that everyone's expecting it to, institutions are going to have to be able to demonstrate, I think it's a little over $20 million in funds related to NIL, especially at the major conferences. So they could add this into those coffers in preparation. Eddie George has agreed to a 5-year deal to become the next head coach at Bowling Green. How's the Highland feel, Jim?
They're excited. Honestly, I think it's like a wait and see. There's a lot of anticipation to see what he does. I think they're interested to see more on the program level. What does he bring to build a program? Not so much the performance. I don't think there's a lot of like, oh, he's going to make them champions. He's going to have them doing this and that. But it's more of what does he do to build the program up? And like, I think it's pretty much well known that it's a stepping stone for him. If he can build that program into some form of contender.
Go from MAC to a power conference at some point?
Yeah. And how quickly can he do it?
Got it. All right. WVU tops the list of teams with the most new players on their rosters, Alex.
Yeah, it's basically 59. The whole roster. And
pretty much half of the roster has been turned over.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much half. Big thing right now, every time I read about anything, it's just Rich Rod talking about how he's just like working the soft out of them. Just making sure they know, what it means to have hard edge. So, by the grace of God, we'll have a hard edge come September.
Get him, Rich Rod. Get him.
So what do you think the off-season outlook is for WVU, Alex?
What do you mean?
Like, are you anticipating being Big 12 contenders?
No, I think there will be a growing pains year, but I anticipate that if Rich Rod truly can bring back kind of that hard edge, tough mentality, and I think that people buy into that and like it, then yeah, I think we can eventually be Big 12 contenders. I don't expect him to jump right in this year and be, perfect, but I expect him to be more competitive and more fun to watch than Neil Brown.
Okay.
That's good for season ticket holders right there.
C.
All right. Go ahead. C? Did you say C like yes?
Yes.
That brings us into other interesting news in sports.
Interesting news in sports.
Starting in the hockey world. Jim.
Yeah.
Ohio Stadium.
That happened.
Hosted the Stadium Series, and the Blue Jackets are back in the playoff hunt.
Mm-hmm.
How does Columbus feel about them Blue Jackets?
They're pumped. I guess.
Are you asking us or telling us?
I don't. I'm not a Blue Jackets fan, remember? So, like...
Well, you're still in Columbus, and they are doing well.
It's not the fervor of the Buckeyes.
It's not Ohio State football, so no one gives a shit.
They do. I can't write it off. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, they don't care. They care. There's a sect of hockey fans that care. You see your Blue Jackets jerseys out there. On the scale of like women's basketball to Ohio State football, it's somewhere in between.
Women's basketball is the low of low.
I sometimes think
which pisses me off.
Columbus gets mad when their teams are good. Like they're like, man, what are we supposed to think about?
No, I don't think that. and it's not the case with the Blue Jackets. I don't agree with that. But like people have like the conversation this week is more about Ohio State's men's basketball, which is bothersome as all hell to me.
Mhm.
When the Blue Jackets are doing well, it's like you have a hockey team.
In women's basketball is top 20, yeah?
Yeah, that's not even a thought. So like it's a weird spot. They don't really bring now. If you come into a passionate hockey fan, which you can come across, you have that excitement. You know what I mean? Like I'll give you for instance the Stadium Series. If you run into a Jackets fan, that was like the most amazing thing ever.
Okay.
If you run into a random Columbus person, the Stadium Series was like that was cool. And then you run into like Joe Blow off the street, they're like, what? Like
What do you mean they played hockey in that stadium?
that
That's a football
stadium,
stadium.
that's the spectrum you run around. So like that's basically what they think about the Blue Jackets hockey. Like you'll have that mix of people. But then you'll the day after that Stadium Series, you'll have I was at the game. You don't even watch hockey.
You went to a hockey game and hoped a football game would break out.
Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, I had front row seats. How? Well, my dad knew somebody who knew somebody. You're like, oh, all right. I was in the suite. How? Well, I work for this company and they gave me ticket. Like, all right. All right. It's just a weird thing. I don't know how to explain it.
All right. Alexander Ovechkin is single digits away from passing Gretzky's goal record now.
I got that last one on the Kraken, didn't he?
The empty netter.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a bunch of people that were butthurt that he's getting these empty netters, and it's like, well, that happens in hockey a lot.
Yeah. I mean, how many of those goals that he has were empty netters?
Well, yeah, how many did Gretzky have? I don't know. Moving into the basketball world, in the WNBA, players are indicating that there may be a player strike after this coming season, as they've opted out of the current agreement that was scheduled to expire in 2027. There have been discussions about higher salaries and other benefits in the past, and this is expected to be part of the conversation as they have a media deal that starts this upcoming year, which has significantly higher numbers involved. General question to the group: do we think that the WNBA is in a position to make significant demands in the re-bargaining of their CBA? Let's start with Alex.
I think they're more in a position now than they have been in many, many, many years. I mean, at this point, people know what the WNBA is. We're talking about it. We're watching it. How many years did we go without doing that? And if they're truly going to be making more money off the media, and the complaint was always, well, the NBA brings in so much more money from the media, and they're bringing in a little more money, I think it should trickle down.
Reasonable. Nate?
I agree with that, but I think you've got to give it time where, yeah, you have the media deals, but you still don't know how much additional revenue it's going to bring in. You can't just go in there making demands. Oh, I want X amount of money. Well, then now you're potentially going to put your team in jeopardy by being in the red.
Fair. Jim?
I liked Alex's take on it. I agree with Alex.
Yeah, I think
Note that
that
down.
I agree that they are definitely in the best position they've ever been in. I think opting out of that last year was very intentional with this new media rights deal coming up. I think the proof or the substance to this is going to be, I think the next 2 years are incredibly pivotal. I don't know how long these CBAs in the WNBA are typically, the terms are, but the next 2 years are going to be big because they're riding a wave right now. They've got this 3v3 league that got some traction. I think people aren't sure about the timing on it, when it should be happening, but all right, I think there's something to be gained right now, and either they figure it out in the next 2 to 4 years, or the WNBA is just going to slide back into this kind of state of, they play basketball, I guess, and it's not going to progress any farther. So I'm hopeful. I just don't know. Where this is going to go.
I think sometimes we as sports fans or sports pundits or whatever, we get lost in the like bubble that we're in. I think the economy over the next 2 years also dictates how the WNBA and their negotiations and the political landscape goes. They have to navigate that too, like, because I think going to a WNBA game, is it going to be affordable? Is it going to be something that the common fan wants to go spend money on? I think that's something that all sports leagues are going to have to look at. And something on a lower shelf, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but the lower shelf like the WNBA is going to have to like think about, and players are going to have to think about, because like Joe Blow in Indiana, do they want to go spend money on a ticket to the NBA over the next 2 years? I don't know.
Do
You
we
know?
want to go to 2 or 3 WNBA games this year? Or do we need to save up for money and go to one NBA game?
Right.
Is that what you're getting
Yeah.
at?
Yeah.
Right. Is the value added going to be enough to make that what the choice?
Yeah. And
So,
I think
no, I don't disagree with that.
I think a lot of these sports are going to have to take a hard look at that. That's why like the NBA and their situation are going to be, if LeBron's gone, is it going to be a big enough draw for me to spend money on my holiday ticket to go to the NBA? Like, the future of sports is going to be a little tough in the next couple years.
Shall see.
Muff, is that a tornado?
No, it's just a fire siren.
Okay.
Just means that there's an emergency call, Jim. That's all it means.
Hey, I'm over here in Flatland, Ohio. When I hear a sound like that and it's as warm as it is, after it's being so cold, I'm like, oh God, Muff, you gonna get hit?
Remember where I live, Jim.
I had to think about it for a second.
Tornadoes not so much of a thing. I think we talked about this last week that West Liberty basketball set a school record.
I don't remember. No.
I don't think we did.
There was no episode last week.
What?
There was no episode last week.
Well, I forgot where this fit into the bigger picture. D2 West Liberty basketball set a school record a couple weeks ago, scoring 162 points in a non-overtime game. They ultimately did lose in the conference championship over the weekend, but they will be hosting the Division II regional that I will be working as a staff member.
They lost the conference championship in triple overtime.
Triple
I feel like
overtime.
that's an important fact there. That was quite the game.
Was a fun game to watch. I think I'm going to be running the video board. I think that's my role. So
you're gonna throw up a sports stuff with Jim and Muff logo on the scoreboard?
I don't see why not.
Don't know if I can do that. NCAA may not like me after that.
Only one way to find out.
Or us.
Don't even know if I'm going to have access to do any of this stuff. I think I just get to point and click. I don't think there's a lot of upload capability in what I'm about to do this weekend, gents. In the NBA, the Mavericks can't catch a break as Kyrie Irving goes down for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. This is also obviously after they lost Luka Doncic, and amid claims that the current majority owner is trying to get the team to Vegas and purposely tanking and doing everything they can to get out of Dallas. Womp, womp, womp. Welcome to the NBA. And last, WNBA great Diana Taurasi announces her retirement after 20 seasons. The UConn great WNBA, we'll say trailblazer, part of those original seasons, is retiring. She was one of those players that had to go play in like Russia and abroad in the off season to actually make a living. So definitely a trailblazer.
Kudos.
And lastly, in the baseball world, the Yankees ace Garrett Cole is undergoing Tommy John surgery this week and is going to miss the entire 2025 season and I believe much of the 2026 season as well.
You should have just stayed with the Pirates.
I don't know about that. This is also after DH Giancarlo Stanton is said to have an elbow injury and out an indefinite period of time.
See, money can't buy you everything, Yankees.
Couldn't happen to a better team than the Yankees. WVU baseball, Alex, started their season 13-0 before a weekend loss to Kennesaw State.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. They had a good season last year, and I think they built on it this year, and they're going to roll, so see where it takes us.
They also had two Big 12 conference champions in wrestling Sunday night.
Mountaineer Sports.
Here we go. And last in the baseball world, ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball games will conclude at the end of the 2025 season, as the March 1st deadline for the MLB and ESPN to opt out of the final 3 years of the contract happened. The sides agreed to a 7-year deal in 2021 that averaged $550 million per season. The ESPN NBA deal is worth $2.6 billion per year. Billion per year. Opinion, do we think that the NBA is 5x more in value than MLB?
No.
Nate says no.
They're
Alex
definitely
says?
more, but I don't know if I'd say 5 times.
Jim?
No.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's a 5x value. This was, I think, a big to-do amongst some of the MLB faithful when ESPN signed this big deal is, are you going to be able to have all of this? And we now have our answer.
NBA is just more of a gossip reality TV than baseball ever provided them. So,
And it's not good.
What, the NBA or MLB?
Yeah, it's the
I feel
MLB.
like you feel yes to both of those.
Yeah, they're both not good.
162 games is a lot to take in.
mm-hmm.
That I will say. The NBA, to be honest, I think they have the similar thought is most people tune out until the playoffs are about to start in both the MLB and the NBA. The
Yeah.
only difference is with the MLB, you get a whole bunch more games as part of that deal. So, we'll see. Any other news in the sports world, gents?
No, not right now. Stephen A. Smith's a bitch.
Came back to it, and there it is.
You gonna hashtag that, Jim?
No, not tonight.
You can do Stephen A's a bitch and hashtag smallest defensive lineman for Alex.
Sign me up.
Oh, here we go. We just got confirmation, Jim. Sign him up. All right, that ends this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. As remember, you can find us on the socials at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Remember to subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding, ding.
Get that bell on, and make sure at the end of the day you tell a friend, make a friend, be a friend.